Hi everyone, I am Lamarr Townsend. I'm a tarot reader, an energy channeler, a psychic, and an astrologer. And in this video, I will be doing an energy channeling on Amberlynn Reid. So thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment and share with your friends and family. Keep in touch with me on my social media, Lamarr Townsend Tarot on Instagram and Facebook. And make sure if you would be interested in a personal reading from me, check out my website, LamarrTownsendTarot.com, where you can purchase your reading. You can also schedule your reading with me via Schedule a City. Thank you to all those who schedule with me via Schedule a City. It's a lot easier. Some of you will schedule like literally 30 minutes, ahead, or like an hour ahead. It's fine because I usually catch it. And I'm like, oh, okay, thank you for scheduling a reading with me. I'll shoot you an email and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to call you at this time to confirm our reading. And it's just like, but it's so fun. Because you never know when a reading is going to come in via Schedule City, and you just never know when a reading is going to come in general, so I love my job. Thank you for listening and watching. In this video, I will be doing a reading on Amberlynn Reid. So, if you don't know who Amberlynn Reid is on my YouTube channel, because not for nothing, a lot of people on my YouTube channel don't know everyone that I read, honestly. And especially YouTubers that I read, and Amberlynn Reid is a YouTuber. I remember I did a reading on Rich Lux. Oh, sorry, I just got a text message. Sorry. I remember I did a reading on Rich Lux a couple months ago, and there were some people I got, like, messages on my, or, like, comments on my video where it's like, I don't even know who this is, but I'm just here for you, Lamarr. So, I like to think that sometimes I do readings on people a lot of you don't know, and it kind of gives them, like, more clout, So it's like, I get to read on them, they get more clout, it's a trade-off. Whatever. So Amberlynn Reid is a YouTuber who gets a lot of hate actually online. She is a very obese YouTuber. No offense to the obese people out there, the overweight people. I consider myself a little bit, fluffy myself. Fluffy, chunky, plump, curvaceous, whatever you want to call it. I have a very curvy kind of body, so although it's something that I admire about my own body, I don't necessarily like the straight look. I like that I have kind of an hourglass figure, but that's just me. But Amberlynn Reid is a whole different scenario. Amberlynn Reid is, it's interesting because she started her YouTube channel, I guess, as not necessarily a weight loss channel, but she, it brought us into her weight loss journey, right? So the thing with YouTube is that when you bring people into your journey, people want to see you complete that journey. Well, unfortunately, Amberlynn has never completed her weight loss journey. She's actually gained a ton of weight since the start of her channel. I think she's gained over like 200 pounds at this point. She's almost, I don't know what's going on with her because she also, films her videos and uploads her videos out of sequence, which is normal for a YouTuber. Sometimes we record videos, we upload videos, we may have recorded a video a month ago and we're just not uploading it. It happens, right? But with Amberlynn Reid, it's just a little bit confusing because we never know if she's being real, if she's being honest, if she's being fake, if she's trolling. So in this video, I guess I just want to see what's around Amberlynn Reid, what's going on with her weight loss journey, and I just want to see what messages Spirit has for us about Amberlynn Reid. So, I guess that's my spiel about Amberlynn Reid. I kind of enjoy her videos, but I honestly think I enjoy some of the reaction videos of Amberlynn Reid a little bit more. Like, one of my favorite ones are Charlie Gold. I started watching her like a week ago. Obsessed, and she's so funny. She's like has such a very Capricorn way about her humor. It's like very deadpan. But anyway, this is the video on Amberlynn Reid. What's going on with Amberlynn Reid? Why is she almost 600 pounds? What's going on? Let's just get into the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and sage the space and cleanse the energies to go ahead and get the reading started and see what's around Amberlynn Reid. Let's go ahead. Thank you for cleansing and clearing the energy of the space, Father God, from any past readings, from any lingering energies. Thank you for opening up the channel so I can get a good reading on Amberlynn Reid and seeing what's going on around her. Thank you for protecting my energy, my thoughts, my mind, and my emotions, and the thoughts, minds, and emotions of those watching this reading. In Jesus' name I pray and thank you. Amen, 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 and amen. So I'm immediately looking at Amberlynn Reid, and she's looking at her computer, and I believe she's like scrolling through comments. So I do believe that Amberlynn Reid reads her comments, and she kind of goes through an emotional roller coaster when she actually reads these comments. Sometimes it makes her sad, it makes her mad, It makes her upset, but then sometimes she wants to get back at the rude people commenting about her. So I feel like this is where sometimes the kind of trolling energy comes from when it comes to Amberlynn Reid. It actually comes from her reading the rude comments, and she wants to get back at people. So it's kind of like, okay, you know, since you're all calling me this or that, you're all calling me fat, you're all calling me this or that. Why don't I just do a video where I eat, you know, healthy foods, but then, you know, behind the scenes I do feel like she binges. So, you know, but it's binging from the rude comments. It's also binging from other things that she's literally shoved down, like her emotions that she's repressing. It makes sense because literally, you know, overweight people, you know, being overweight tends to literally be from them shoving their emotions down and not wanting to face their emotions, and the food literally covers the emotion. So I feel like that's what's going on with Amberlynn Reid. And it's interesting because, like, I close my eyes and I literally keep seeing these evil eyes, you know, like, all around me. And you guys know what that means whenever I see that. That means that someone is struggling with their public perception, how people view them versus how they view themselves, dealing with public scrutiny and things like that. So I do feel like Amberlynn Reid does struggle with that. It's a lot of energy for Amberlynn Reid to actually deal with, like, just with so much thrown at her. That I feel like, once again, obviously food is comfort for her. And it's interesting because I see Amberlynn Reid actually spends a lot of time alone. So I'm not, like, it's interesting because we see in a lot of her videos that she's, like, around a lot of people. She's always with her girlfriend Becky, or, you know, in the past she was with her girlfriend Destiny, and at one point she was with Destiny, left her, and I think she went to some new girl named Dana, and she was always with them. So it's like something about Amberlynn Reid is, like, she likes to be around people so she doesn't have to deal with her own problems, but I actually feel like people are starting to actually get a little bit fed up around Amberlynn Reid with her Amberlynn Reid and her problems, you know, the problems that come with her. So I actually feel like there are certain people in Amberlynn Reid's life that are actually avoiding her at this current time. And I'm seeing her roommates, and it's funny because we see in a lot of her videos where she talks about, oh, you know, me and my roommates are on different timelines, you know, I'm awake when they're all asleep, I'm eating alone. I actually feel like they are avoiding her, literally. They just don't want to deal with her. I feel like Amberlynn Reid is reaching a point where she is kind of in breakdown mode, you know, and it's breakdown mode definitely from, you know, being a YouTuber, but being a YouTuber that receives a lot of flack, that receives a lot of hate. She's in breakdown mode because I feel like there's people, you know, there's a lot of people online that are, you know, kind of catching on to who she really is as a person. And I feel like who Amberlynn Reid is as a person is someone that struggles with mental health, struggles with loneliness, struggles with feeling abandoned, struggles with acceptance of herself, you know, and this translates into her overeating, binging, and things like that. So a lot of Amberlynn Reid's actual food addiction struggle or stem from mental health, which is the case a lot of times. It's either going to be mental health, trauma, and I don't think Amberlynn Reid has gone through too much trauma, you know, in the sense of, like, you know, I do feel like obviously she was a foster child, so she's never really had a family, but I feel like most of her trauma comes from, like, self-induced. Like, I'm hearing a lot of self-induced things. It's, like, a really mental with Amberlynn Reid. I don't know why I'm also picking up that Amberlynn Reid actually has a little bit of a temper or an anger problem as well, and I feel like that's kind of what causes people to kind of distance themselves from her, like, or she pushes them away, literally. And it's funny because I don't know why I see Amberlynn Reid eventually going to doctor appointments alone. So I don't know if that means her and what's her name, Becky, will eventually break up, or if her and Becky will kind of just start to be together still but live separate lives. I do see Becky is like a little bit more serious about her weight loss than Amberlynn Reid actually is, and I actually see Becky starting to lose weight because I see Becky getting to a size where it's like, oh, okay, Becky, like we were, you know, we kind of see Becky and we actually see her beauty. I mean, I don't see Becky as not beautiful, but I do see some comments sometimes where people, you know, say not some nice stuff about Becky, but I do see that we're going to see Becky start to lose weight and go on her own self-acceptance journey. I feel like Amberlynn Reid is not there yet. And unfortunately, it's like when Amberlynn Reid, I feel like it's to the point where there's no one around her to enable her, there's no one around her to make her feel better about herself, that's when I feel like she'll finally get a little bit more serious about her weight loss goals. And it's funny because I actually see her blaming something about her weight, you know, like something to do with her weight or how she eats on why people are leaving her life. But obviously it's not that. It's her pushing people away. It's her mental health. It's, you know, other people around her wanting to live a more healthier lifestyle and not wanting to no longer enable her. Because I do feel like there's something about, like, say, for example, you're having like a shitty day, excuse my language. You're having a crappy day. Sorry for the young people watching this video because I do feel like Amberlynn Reid has young fans and followers. You say you're having a crappy day, you know, you're Amberlynn Reid's roommate, and you come home, and you're like, oh, Amberlynn Reid's just sitting at the table, you know, doing a puzzle or eating something, and you're just like, oh my god, Amberlynn, like, I had such a horrible day, this person said that to me, this and that happened, and Amberlynn Reid is like, you know what would be, like, so good is if we went to the Cheesecake Factory, or if we went to McDonald's and got this or that. Like, I feel like that would make you feel so much better. But really, it's just like, it's an opportune moment for her to feed her own addiction, right? And she's just bringing someone else into it. I feel like that's something that happens a lot with Amberlynn Reid, is that she actually brings other people into her food addiction. I believe that Amberlynn Reid definitely has a food addiction. Period. Point blank. Okay? She's addicted to sweets, just the sweet taste, the sweet sense, but she's also addicted to salt, I'm seeing as well. And I feel like there's something where, oh gosh, we might actually hear, God forbid, about, there's something I'm seeing with her heart. So I don't know if she may have a heart attack or something like that, or if just like the weight of her body, I think, is going to be too much for her heart at some point. I don't see her necessarily passing away, but I see her talking about there's something going on with her heart and her heartbeat, maybe even her breathing, something like that. Once again, obviously an indication that she needs to lose weight. And I'm seeing like 600-pound life in like Amberlynn Reid, and I feel I'm sorry to laugh, but I feel like there's something where Amberlynn Reid is actually terrified to go on 600-pound life, because it would make the whole thing for her that much more serious and that much more real. Because I feel like if she teeter-totters on the edge of 600 pounds, it's like, you know, okay, it's not real, like I'm never going to be 600 pounds. But the closer she gets to that like point, it's like, oh my god, like I could literally be on 600-pound life. Like that's kind of how I see her being. I don't mean to laugh, but it's just kind of funny. You know how there's those shows like Intervention, like the drug addicts, and you look at that and it, like or someone who does drugs or something like that on Intervention or drinks, and it's like you look at it and it's just like, I'm glad I'm not that bad. That's how I see Amberlynn Reid being with like food shows where there's overweight people and things like that. It's like, I'm glad I'm not that bad, but she's still really bad, right? I think there's something about Becky where I think Becky is actually going to motivate Amberlynn Reid to lose weight or get more active, because I actually think there's something once again about Becky where she wants to lose weight and she wants to get more fit. Alright? I don't know why I'm just seeing something happen with Twinkie, the dog. Yeah. God forbid Amberlynn Reid accidentally like falls or something like that, and maybe Twinkie, hopefully God forbid, is in the way, but there's something about Twinkie I'm seeing. So, that's her dog, by the way. I mean, obviously, I think Amberlynn Reid eats and eats and eats as a place of comfort. We all have our own vices, and Amberlynn Reid's vice is food. Food, comfort food. So I feel like when there's not people around, I actually feel like Amberlynn will be more likely to binge. This could be when there's no one in the house that she's in, or it could be when there's like just no one around. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning and everyone's sleeping, you know. I feel like she's the type of person where if she can't sleep, she's like, I need to eat something. I need to go in the fridge. What's in the fridge? What can I eat? Something like that. Not good. But I think she actually struggles with sleeping and insomnia. I don't know if she's talked about that before, but I think she actually struggles with sleeping and insomnia. I think a lot of her issues come from her childhood, and I guess her childhood being in the foster home. I feel like Amberlynn Reid has always felt abandoned and not wanted, and I do think that, you know, that comes into play when she reads the comments. It makes her feel further not wanted. And then she has this thing with the personal people in her life right now, especially where she feels not wanted by them either. So that's like a big trigger for her, I feel. And I feel like Amberlynn Reid's a very triggered person. Triggered by everything, even triggered by food in certain instances. So, she doesn't necessarily like hearing the truth either. And I feel like that's part of why she doesn't like going to the doctors and things like that. You could tell Amberlynn the truth and tell her, hey, you have high blood pressure. And Amberlynn Reid's like, well, I don't know if it's really that. I've been having headaches, my feet have been swollen, but I thought it was just because, I haven't been moving much. Like, she'll find any way to justify it other than the truth, alright? So a lot of it is mental health. I feel like the first place Amberlynn Reid needs to start when it comes to her weight loss journey is actually a therapist, a psychic, alright, or someone that's a professional licensed, person to deal with mental health. That is Amberlynn Reid's problem, is she's actually struggling from mental health issues, and that translates into overeating, binging, weight issues, and things like that. She's literally repressing her emotions, repressing her feelings, repressing her energy, shoving it down, just like she's shoving the food down, and the weight distributes literally from down upwards, right? Or however her weight distributes. I think you get the point that I'm trying to say. So I feel like that's what's going on with Amberlynn Reid. I feel like not until she starts to really work on her mental health issues and healing from her childhood and feeling abandoned and not feeling wanted, I feel like she's going to continue to struggle with weight issues, to struggle with food issues and things like that. So, and God forbid there be no one around her, I really worry about Amberlynn Reid, because there's no one to not only enable her and like make her feel better about herself, but also to help her. I think Amberlynn Reid actually needs help from, and it sucks because she doesn't really have anyone to help around her to help her except for her girlfriends and her roommates and her friends, but it's just like they're getting to a point where it's like, how like much can we help you, until you start helping yourself. So it's a sad situation, but I do see that there's going to come a point where Amberlynn Reid, between this year and next year, she's going to reach a point where she's really going to start getting more serious. I do see her losing more weight. I don't know why I'm seeing like 120 pounds. So I feel like once she starts getting really, really serious, I feel like she could lose a significant amount of weight, and people are going to be so happy. But my fear is keeping it off and not putting it back on, alright? Because once again, remember, she struggles from mental health issues. So if there's anything that triggers her mental health, she may just go right back into the cycle, alright? So I really hope she gets her mental health looked into and works through that. That's my reading on Amberlynn Reid. Thank you for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like this video, comment, and share with your friends and family. Keep in touch with me on my social media, Lamarr Townsend Tarot on Instagram and Facebook. Remember, I am available for personal readings. You can call me or text me at 703-791-9162, or check out my website, lamarrtownsendtarot.com. I have specials right now. I have the New Year 2020 special where you get one candle of your choice. I do candle work. You get a 30-minute recorded psychic tarot reading and a 30-minute recorded birth chart reading. I am an astrologer, natal chart, birth chart reader as well. So if you would be interested in any of those things, check out my website. Remember, I also have subscription readings where you pay a monthly fee through WordPress, which is the site which is the platform I host my site on, my website, and each month you get a free reading sent to your email. I have a couple people that do utilize my subscription service, and they love it a lot. And one of the great things about that is that you get to actually get coupons sent to you where you get a percentage off or a certain amount off of regularly priced readings. So that's the benefit of that. Thank you for listening and watching. Amberlynn Reid, I hope, if you see this video, I hope that you don't see I'm bashing you or hating on you or anything like that. I just want the best for you. I actually kind of like watching your videos sometimes. I think you have a great, fun personality. And, I like seeing you enjoy life. So that's my message for Amberlynn Reid. Love and light, and I'll see you in the next video.